Okay, lesson 46. So we're going to work in some more with these expressions that have radicals in them. So we know that we have something like this. We already know we need to split that up. So it's 3 times the square root of 5 over the square root of 2. Now, in a minute, I'm going to have to rationalize that. So I'm going to leave some space between that and my plus sign. Then this one's going to be 3 times the square root of 2 over the square root of 5. And then I'm going to have the square root of 90. I'm going to do something with that in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and rationalize these. Okay, so that's going to end up being a 2, and that's going to end up being a 5, right? So I'm going to have 3 times the square root of 10 over 2 plus 3 times the square root of 10 over 5. Now, I know that my common denominator is going to end up being a 10. So I'm going to think of this as 10 times 9, or 9 times 10. And I'm going to go ahead and simplify it, because it's the square root of both of those, right? But this is over a 1. So now I'm going to get my 10 for my common denominator. Okay, to get my 10, I need to multiply this by 5 over 5. I need to multiply this one by 2 over 2. And I need to multiply this one by 10 over 10. So this one will become 15 times the square root of 10. This will become 6 times the square root of 10. This will become negative 30 times the square root of 10. Now the bottoms are all 10s. Okay? So now, since they're in the top, they're all times the square root of 10, I can add the numbers in front. So this is 21, negative 30, it's going to be a negative 9. So negative 9 times the square root of 10 over 10. Okay. Now let's change something from what's called the radical form, which has square roots or cube roots or whatever, to fractional form. Okay, so let's just review something. If you have the square root of x, that is understood 2 right here, square root of second root, square root of x, that's an understood 1. That's equal to x to the 1/2 power. If I have the cube root of x, there's an understood 1 here, that's x to the 1/3 power. So the root becomes the bottom number. If I had the cube root of x to the 4th, that'd be x to the 4/3 power. The root is the bottom number, the exponent is the top number. So what is this stuff here? Okay, well first of all, this one right here is underneath that big one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite that as 3 times 3 to the 1/2 power. Because the square root of 3 is 3 to the 1/2. I know there's an understood 1 there. So I know that that's the same thing. I can add those exponents. It's 3 to the 3 over 2 power. Now, if this is a cube here, it's the same thing as saying 1/3 of this. So it's going to be 3 to the 3/2 power, and that is to the 1/3 power because of the cube root. Just like here, this is like x to the 4th to the 1/3 power, which gives you 4/3. So when I multiply this, because you're going to multiply these exponents, right? This is over that. Those 3's are going to cancel, and you get 3 to the 1/2 power. So it says you're going to change from radical form to fractional exponent form. So this is your answer in fractional exponent form. Let's try another one. Now notice that this 3 is a little teeny 3, and it goes with this part right here. You have to be real careful when you're looking at these. So all of this first one is a square root. So I'm going to write it to the 1/2 power. All of the second one is to a cube root. So I'm going to write it to a 1/3 power. So I know that I'm going to take this and multiply to each one of those. So that's going to give me x to the 3 over 2 power, y to the 1st power. When I multiply this, I get 1. When I multiply that, I get 3 over 2. Remember, these are understood 1s. So when I multiply these, I get x to the 1/3 power, y to the 1/3 power. now they're not in parentheses anymore, so what we're going to do is we're going to add up the exponents on the x's. So we're going to have 3/2 plus 1/3. Okay, so it's 9 plus 2 over 6. Okay, 9 plus 2, multiply, multiply, add them together, over, multiply. So x is going to be to the 11 over 6 power. Y, I've got 1 plus 1 over 3. Okay, just think of that as 1 over 1. 3 plus 1 over 3, 4/3 power. And you're done. Okay, now let's look at the last one. So again, this is one thing, and that is the next one. So I have x to the 5th, y to the 3rd, and that is to the 1/3 power. I have over here x, y to the 5th, and that is to the 1/4 power. So I'm going to multiply 5 times 1/3, and I get 5 over 3. I'm going to multiply 3 times 1/3, and I get 1. I will multiply 1 times 1/4, and I get 1/4, and 5 times 1/4, and I get 5/4. Okay? So now I need to add these two together. So I'm going to add 5/3 plus 1/4. That's 20 plus 3 over 12. 23/12. X to the 23/12. Y, I've got 1 plus 5/4. Make it 1 over 1. It's 4 plus 5 over 4. Multiply plus multiply over multiply. That's 9/4. And I hope that's helpful.